Hello. Welcome back to the show. I want to collectively just take a deep inhale with you and let it out. It has been a morning over here. So many meltdowns, and I just want us to shake it out. No matter how your day has been so far, give yourself a little wiggle, let it out. And we're going to get into a really good episode about why it is that you are not sticking to your goals. I think this is really important to think about, especially right now, because of two reasons. One, it's so frustrating when you say that you want something and you aren't following through. If you're in it right now, if you feel this, if you know what I'm talking about, right? It just is an unparalleled feeling when you say that you want to go after something and like inside like you want to, but like you can't get yourself to do the thing. The longer that this is on your brain, whether it's very apparent and upfront and taking up a lot of space, or maybe it's on the back burner, like, you should be doing this thing, you want to be doing this thing, and it's just kind of, burning slowly on the back burner, the more that it's going to wreak havoc on your confidence, on your self-esteem, on your self-image. It's actually like very important to talk about this. Also, the new year is approaching at the time of this recording and when this airs. And if you don't consciously think of this being the goals that you have now, and if you're following through and what we're about to talk about, if you don't think about this now, you are going to do it again. You're going to get to the new year and you're going to set the same resolution again unintentionally and just hope that you're motivated because the calendar changed, right? Like, ding, it's the new year, fresh start, same goal, new me. This is going to be the season. This is going to be the year. And that's just not going to happen because you haven't changed. And all that did happen was like 24 hours passed, and it is now 2025. So throughout this episode, I'm going to be sharing a specific example from me. It's my goal, one of my current goals of exercising. And I want you to think of one of your goals that you have been saying that you want to achieve, whether it be something like a healthy habit like mine, or something professionally, maybe something in your relationships, just something that you say that you've been wanting to do and you haven't been doing it. So for me, it's exercise. And I've been active my entire life. I was an active kid in like all the sports. My parents had me in like t-ball when I was really little. I remember riding my bike in the summertime to tennis lessons. We did all the things. And then as I got a little bit older, I was very active in soccer, and I did soccer and cheerleading throughout high school. In college, I did competitive cheerleading. With that, I went to Daytona to compete, and it was so awesome. It was exactly like Bring It On. It was so cool. So, like one of the best experiences of my life. Anyways, after college, I got my first gym membership and I would go to Zumba classes, spin classes. I was waking up at like 4:30 in the morning to make it to a 5 a.m. gym class. I would shower in the gym showers to like get to work by 7:30 a.m. I was running in half marathons. I'm not going to lie, I was a bit obsessed, very obsessed with the gym at that point. And then I got into beach body workouts, and I'm a beach body coach, and I did all of that stuff up until 2024, up until this past year. And right before recording this, the reason that exercise has been on my mind is because I feel like I have not exercised consistently in like 2 months. I feel like I can count on like one hand, maybe two, the number of times I have exercised in 2 months, which is just like crazy to me. Like taking a week off of moving my body intentionally used to feel like a year to me, right? And if you are an exerciser, you know how long it feels. And like 2 weeks off was like what? Like that felt like 2 years off. And so I was pretty consistent, of course, taking time off every now and then, getting in ruts every now and then for sure. But I was consistent up until when I froze my eggs this past February. And my thought process of the past few weeks inspired me to look back in my fitness app to see like, well, actually, what has my exercise been like this year? Because I know the past few months I have not been very active, but what has it been this whole year? And I was actually shocked to see how often or not so often I have exercised this year. So I was consistent up until egg freezing, which happened mid February. I have a whole episode on that, by the way. But that was mid February, and I just didn't work out at all during that because your body's going through so much. And then after that process, which was like mid March, I did get back into exercising, and my average was about 3 days a week until May. For the month of June, I did 2 workouts. And then in July, I did 5 workouts total. In August, I did 3 workouts. In September, I did 3 workouts, but it was all in the same week. So I had 3 weeks where I did nothing. In October, I did 2 workouts all in the same week. So again, 3 weeks where I did nothing. That's unheard of for me, you guys. And I wasn't injured. Like this was by choice. And it's currently November 8th at the time of this recording. And I did exercise earlier this week, and I decided to do a dance one with Shaun T. I want to say too that it has been a choice. It's been just kind of like I feel like I should work out, but also I don't really care that I'm not really sticking to a program or anything. But with not sticking to any sort of routine, especially going such long times without exercising at all the past few months, it's made me feel like I'm not sticking to my goals. And I keep saying, I even like send voice messages to my sister like I want to exercise consistently, but I'm not longer than 1 to 5 times a month. And you can tell even by like my voice right now, like I'm shocked, and I almost feel like, huh? Like some judgment comes with that as well. It's felt just hard to motivate my body to move, to like get up and do it. What I've been doing instead of moving my body and exercising is I've been replacing that time in the morning with different self-care practices. I've been tapping, which I really enjoy. Sometimes I'll do like a meditation or a visualization, or sometimes I've just been loving what I'm doing with my journal coaching. And so I jump straight into something on my to-do list with work. If I work, I tell myself that I'll take a break later in the day to exercise or to go to the gym because I do have a gym membership. But as you can guess, I don't do that. So it's just a little frustrating keep saying that I'm going to do these things and then not actually making it a priority. Exercising just doesn't fulfill me anymore. I do feel amazing when I work out. Like those few days a month that I do happen to work out, I do feel good. And afterwards, I'm like, yes, I'm going to do this again. And then, as you can tell, it's like a week later until I do one workout or something, because it also feels amazing to sleep in. This is the first time, like ever, that I've been allowing myself to sleep in and to not judge myself for it, and to not work out and to not judge myself for it. And it feels amazing to prioritize other self-care practices too. So before going any further, I want you to take out the notes app on your phone, unless you're driving, and then just look at the show notes later if you are. But take out your phone, open the notes app, and type journal entries at the top so that you know you are listening to this podcast. And then I want you to jot down this question to think about later. What do I say that I want to be doing, or what do I say my goal is, but I'm not doing it, and why? I'll put more context to this in the show notes. Like, why does it feel so hard for you to do? And or what are you doing instead? But this is a simple question that you don't need to spend 5 minutes journaling on, right? So just type out later whatever comes to you in bullet points in your phone. So again, the question is, what do I say I want to be doing, or what is my goal, but I'm not doing it, and why? What comes up for you? And there's no right or wrong answer. Put all of the judgy, petty things in there, whatever comes. Here's the thing for me. I notice my body changing slightly. I just kind of feel it, even though I don't think my size is changing very much, but I notice it. I'm feeling my body change, and it makes me want to say that I should be exercising because we're taught that, especially as women. We're taught that that's what we should be doing. However, I truly am at peace right now. I'm in a happy place of not feeling fear, or more importantly, of not feeling shame around it. And that's huge. I'm just as happy finding clothes that fit me and feel great. Regarding my goals and my healthy habits, especially, some people are out there saying, just do it. Discipline is more important than inspiration. Like, don't wait, just discipline, discipline, discipline. And while I do understand that motivation doesn't come first, which it doesn't, action does. Action comes first. You got to do the thing, because then you'll see progress, and that progress is what inspires motivation. And then that motivation inspires more action. So that's the whole like equation if you're thinking about it. Action, progress, motivation, it loops around back to more action, and then you got a happy little cycle going right there, right? It does not start with inspiration and motivation. However, if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, I believe it can do more damage than improvement, especially to your mental health. This might be extreme to say, but I feel like you can totally lose yourself if you keep doing these things out of discipline for what you think you should be doing than out of authenticity and desire for who you are and who you want to be and what you want to be doing. I would never tell somebody to just push through, to do it anyways, to create more discipline when the root is the issue. So go back to the Notes app on your phone and write down this next question. Is not prioritizing this goal a bad thing? Or was I conditioned to set this goal in the first place? I will put that in the show notes for you as well. What I'm getting at is the why behind your habits. When I think of my active choice to not exercise, because that's what it is, I am actively choosing to not exercise, and I own that. I feel privilege. I am a white woman with easy access to everything I need, and also literally having everything I need to exercise and not using it. I also have access to healthy foods that I eat most of the time, and I am healthy. I just feel like, how privileged am I to be healthy and to have the choice to not utilize these incredible resources at my fingertips. Also, I had the example of healthy parents growing up, and I never saw anything different. And because of that, I do feel like I take my health for granted. I didn't realize that until a couple years ago. I was hosting a retreat where so many women opened up and shared that they did not have a healthy role model growing up. And that's their motivation for their health goals. They want to be that for their kids. They want to be that healthy role model. And they're like super intrinsically motivated, driven by that every day to make healthy, nutritious choices, to exercise, to show that example to their kids. But for me, since that's all I've ever seen, that's never motivated me and still doesn't motivate me, even though I now have a son. What motivated me in the past was my body, how it looked, how it appeared, how it fit into certain outfits. And now at 36 years old, I'm realizing that there's just so much more to life than my body. And more importantly, I am more than my body. I'm so much more than that. And it's just not as important. How it looks is not as important to me. So when that was the motivation for me. How it looked was the motivation. And since that's no longer the motivation, I'm now at this crossroads of trying to find a new reason to exercise that is inspiring to me right now, or finding peace in my peace right now, which doesn't involve intentional forced exercise. And I know that exercise might not be the thing for you. So, putting this into your perspective of whatever goal you have, you might be at this crossroads of finding a new reason to go after your goal that is inspiring you, or potentially setting it free, finding peace in something else. So, go back to your notes app and write down these final two questions. What was my why when I initially set this goal? And what is my why now, if I have one at all? I'm not going to lie. I literally was journaling on this morning, and I could not answer the second half of that. So this is why I say put it in your notes app, just type up whatever comes, whatever doesn't come, that's fine. Don't spend too much time on this. So again, what was my why when I initially set this goal? I think that's going to be really telling. And what is my why now? This might be super inspiring for you and like light that fire underneath your ass. The last question, can I accept myself if I release this goal altogether? This is almost just a perspective question, like just thinking about it. You don't even need a yes or no. I'm just throwing this ball in your court and seeing where it lands. At the end of the day, I want us to stop judging ourselves for not following through on continuously missing the mark on our goals. And instead, stop, pause, take a deep breath, and reflect on them and what role they play in our lives right now. Consider that maybe you're not sticking to that habit like exercise or going after that goal as intensely as you want to because you're doing it for the wrong reasons or different reasons than you initially had when you set the goal. And consider also that maybe it's not bringing you the feeling that you want to feel, and that keeping that goal on your to-do list could actually be causing more overwhelm and more stress because the root of it is comparison, or the influencer on Instagram told you to do it, or simply that it's just been on your to-do list for years and you've never stopped to question it. It's that the goal or this habit wasn't recently assessed and it's not intrinsically motivated anymore. Is this a goal that you set from an authentic place and desire? Or is it rooted in shame, guilt, and fear telling you to set that goal or to keep that goal? Come back to the prompts that you put in your phone and spend just a couple minutes reflecting on them. Even if you don't officially answer them and type anything out, just look at them and reflect on them to come to your own conclusions, conscious conclusions. And I promise it'll inspire something. It will light a fire in you one way or another, and inspire yourself to either get back on the horse, to set a different goal, or maybe, just maybe, prioritize peace and rest and yourself. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you gathered some sort of inspiration from it, I would so appreciate you if you went over to Apple Podcasts and rated it, left a few stars, and typed in a little note about what you loved about it. I have a desire right now to really get my podcast into more people's ears so that they can feel more inspired and feel better about themselves, especially as we head into the new year. Lastly, stay tuned because I am in the works with a 5-day challenge that will be airing December 2nd. And there's going to be giveaways, including $500 credit towards something. And it's going to be awesome. So stay tuned and Subscribe to this podcast if you're not already so that you can get updates to it. And it's going to be awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys next week.